Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And if you subscribe to the channel, you already know this. We do full-length car reviews, and halfway through we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. We spun it off. We're at 129. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Is there a reason why so many brands like BMW and Mercedes-Benz never seem to attend the Vancouver auto shows? The auto show this year seems to have even less stuff to see than previous pre-COVID years. It is true, there were a lot of manufacturers.
Before you go off, I just want to say, this isn't a phenomenon just for Vancouver.
No.
Okay, now you go.
It is not.
All auto shows are feeling this.
But there were some missing ones like Mazda, but Mazda actually didn't participate in any of them. Kia and I think Hyundai as well weren't at the Vancouver Auto Show. But we spoke to some of the luxury brands about this, and they were saying they just don't see the benefits and the costs that are associated with auto shows. It's very high. And so they would rather do maybe something at a dealership where you would have people who are actually interested in your brand, maybe have purchased a BMW before, and have a total event at the dealership and invite them to come. They feel that there's more benefit there when it comes to sales.
So we were just in Europe with Mercedes-Benz, and sitting next to me at the one of the first dinners we had was one of the AMG guys, and I basically brought this up where the German brands and a lot of brands have abandoned auto shows, not because it was the same week as the Paris Motor Show. And the Paris Motor Show used to be one of the biggest along with Frankfurt, and we were talking about the Geneva Motor Show. So these are being like high-end motor shows through the years, and these brands don't go anymore. And I told him the story. Andrew and I were walking around Marbella. We got in earlier, flight got in very early, so we sat down in a cafe and had a bite to eat, and this nice German family was sitting next to us. This guy's baller. He has an X7, and he's also got a brand new 2024 Porsche 911 Turbo S, top of the heap. So this guy makes good bank, right? And he said that now they live in Germany. Every year, BMW invites him to go to the Nürburgring on the Formula One circuit, and they have an enthusiast day, and they don't drive their own cars, they drive BMW cars, including the X7, and they're allowed to take them on the track. And he says, listen to this, I buy every couple of years a new X7 just because of that. So that stuff works. You target the people with the money instead of all the people jumping in and out of your car, kicking the tires, who are never going to buy your car.
And that's exactly what these luxury brands are saying. And interestingly enough, for this guy, he was sitting with his wife. They have 3 kids, and she wasn't interested in going to the event. So he brought a friend, which made him even happier.
Maybe the friend even got one, but that's sort of direct targeted marketing. So you think about a brand like Mercedes-Benz or BMW, Porsche, Audi. They get these lists of people who can afford their product first and foremost, have sort of put their hand up a little bit that they might be interested in it, and then they get them in a curated event. Maybe there's a nice dinner, they let them drive the cars, they invite them to come and look at the cars one-on-one. That sells cars.
It sure does. But also, I think that auto shows are beneficial.
Why do people walk down the middle of the road?
Why
do they walk down the middle? There's a sidewalk right there, and they walk down the middle of the road. I've never understood that.
Now, when I speak to people who do attend auto shows, they said it's an event. They love to go and look at the different brands and the different models that are available. And during COVID, models were really tough to get. You couldn't drive them. You couldn't see them in person. You basically pre-ordered them. So I do believe that there are benefits to auto shows as well. It's just the brands aren't seeing that because they are so expensive.
You have no idea. The displays at auto shows are millions of dollars. And then they often have to have 2 or 3 of them that are going from one auto show to the next. They're loaded in to pay the haul, to pay all the truckers, to pay all the guys to set it up, and you put all of this money in there. Plus, you've got to get the cars in there. You've got to staff the thing for 10 days, and then how many cars are you selling out of that? That's the equation that they have.
And although all of the brands weren't at the Vancouver Auto Show, it was very successful.
Oh, you know why it was successful?
Very successful auto show.
You know why it was successful, Andrea?
I know what you're going to say.
Because Andrea and I were the face of the Vancouver Auto Show.
We were.
We were like, hey, where's Zach and Andrea? Come on down to the auto show. So we think auto shows offer a lot of value. Back to Andrea's point, you can't get in and out of all of these cars, but some brands just don't want to take part. I think with the success of the auto show this past year, because Zach and Andrea were the face of it, maybe other brands might come back.
I was watching the news in the morning, a local station, and I'm drinking my coffee and I'm working on my laptop, and then I hear our voice and I'm like, oh my gosh, they played that commercial straight time. We're back next year again.
Well, not officially, Andrea.
No, but I hope so. Hello there. Me and my 12-year-old son always watch your channel. I have 2 questions. I noticed lately that Mitsubishi is not included on any less JD Power rankings for reliability. They don't get any attention. And I've owned a 2024 PHEV Outlander and no issues so far. And it's amazing to drive. My other question, is there any chance Pajero, Montero will come here in North America? Thanks. Keep up the great work.
Okay, the last question, no, it ain't happening. I don't think they're going to bring a Pajero here, which is too bad because it would sell. But anyway,
Looks cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
And it's got a long history in the marketplace. We just did, I think the reason why this question came through is because we just did our top 5 compact SUVs and we didn't include the Mitsubishi Outlander, and we kind of had a very strong emphasis on hybrids and plug-in hybrids. The problem we have with the regular base model gas Outlander is what, Andrea?
It's a bit of a dog on
slow.
the highway. I mean, when you're trying to pass on the highway, it is slow. It just takes a while to get it up to speed. Staying in the right lane is the better choice. The other thing about the Outlander plug-in hybrid, which I'm happy to hear that you've had no issues with yours. Some people, when the temperature really dipped, whether you were in the US or in Canada, minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Which is minus 75,000 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know. Bloody cold. I think that's 5 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, or 4 degrees
or minus
Fahrenheit
5 degrees
or
Fahrenheit.
something like that.
Anyway, really
you
cold.
guys let us know what it is. I don't have it off the top of my head. But some of these vehicles would not start for people, and they became very frustrated. Ironically, during that cold snap, we actually happened to have the Outlander plug-in hybrid, and we were reviewing it.
It happened like the week after we gave it back. We
Did
had
it?
it? Yeah. It wasn't...
No. We had it here. It was cold here. It was minus 12 degrees Celsius in Vancouver. We had no issues with it at all. Once we gave the vehicle back, that's when the reports started to come in. And so we actually had to add it to our review because we didn't know about this. We reached out to Mitsubishi about it, and they, I guess, were flooded that weekend with calls to dealerships about it. Mitsubishi did do a software update, but things warmed up. So viewers who own the Outlander plug-in hybrid told me that they don't know if it was effective or not.
For a cold snap. And if you follow the weather trends, this is a La Nina winter coming.
Oh.
So when they're predicting it's going to be a cold, classic, wintry winter.
Great.
Just
great. With mainstream brands upgrading interiors and premium, including BMW brands using cheaper materials and basic engines in their entry point trims, is cabin isolation enough to justify such a price difference, considering differences in insurance, maintenance, premium gas, etc.?
So what you're basically saying is you believe that some premium brands are cheapening their interiors, and I would kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
And then mainline brands are improving their interiors. I would agree with that, or some brands anyway. So what's the difference? What's the delta there? Why would you go? It's not just the interiors, it's all the engineering that goes into a luxury brand, whether it's the suspension, the steering, the brakes. All of that kind of stuff is the little X factor you don't get with mainline cars.
No, I mean, the way that they're tuned and the automatic transmissions and just how everything works seamlessly together. I agree with you with interior quality, but it's about driving dynamics and about a quieter cabin, possibly a smoother ride. And then the other thing is, I'll tell you.
This drives Andrea crazy.
Also, that solid feel, that clunk when you close the door.
The clunk.
And
so,
I
a
do
big
notice
one-
a difference.
A big one is the glass they use on premium cars often will be the double laminated acoustic glass on the side windows and the windshield.
Yeah.
And this stuff works. Like, okay, have you ever been in an old house with single pane windows, the old single pane windows? Someone could be outside and it sounds like they're in the living room. It's like you can hear everything through it.
Yeah.
Then you go in and you get double glazed windows or triple glazed windows, and now you can barely hear anything inside the house anymore.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing in a car. You don't notice it until you get in a car that has the acoustic glass. What a massive difference it makes. So I agree with you. The lines between premium and high-end mainline are kind of getting blurred, but a big part of it, Andrea, is the badge.
Yeah.
And flexing to your friends and neighbors and your coworkers. Oh, I got a new so-and-so. Look at me.
I feel a difference, but I think you're right about interiors. The non-luxury brands are doing such an amazing job with their interiors, but the driving dynamics are just not the same. They are different, and you are paying more for that because of it. I noticed the RAV4 trunk capacity is way more than the RX 350 on paper. Is that really true?
Well, the RX 350 has one unique thing to it,
Yeah.
and that is that sloping rear the sloping rear glass. And what people kind of miss with dimensions of the trunk, it's the entire volume. Right? So it's the width, it's the length, and it's the height. And when you have a cropped window, that removes some of the space, but you have to ask yourself, how usable is that space? Most people want the length and the width. The height, not so much.
Now, when you look at RAV4 pictures versus the RX, you will see a slight difference, but I mean, really not enough. And I did pull the measurements, and I always find it tricky with liters or cubic feet because it really doesn't reflect it all. And also the difference between the two is very small. For example, behind the second row for the RAV4 is 37.5 cubic feet, and the RX is 29.6 cubic feet. When you're looking at cubic feet, it's actually not a huge difference.
Yeah, but that's
between the
calculated
two.
for the entire volume.
Of course.
It's like how much can you fit in the entire cup?
Yes.
Right? And so I would almost, I don't know that this, I would almost guarantee the RX has a longer cargo area and it will be wider because mid-size SUVs are wider. What it doesn't have is the height and where the rear window is. And that's where it's stealing it from. But all of that length you're going to get.
After we got this question, I did look at pictures on Instagram because I always show the cargo area in the rear. And the RAV4 does look slightly longer, and I feel like you are getting a little bit more
You think
space,
the RX is
but
longer?
No, the RAV4.
The RAV4 is longer.
Yes,
Really?
in that cargo area. Although lengthwise the RX is
bigger.
longer,
Yeah.
when you look at space behind the rear seat, the RAV4 does look slightly longer to me.
But it's also the angle you took it at and how close you were. So
Could be. They look they're very similar.
I'm showing
but
you
you're getting
pictures-
a little bit more, I
I'm
think,
showing
in the
you
RAV4.
images of it right now.
What's your opinion on the best overall value manufacturer in Canada? VW, Kia, Hyundai, others? 3, 2, 1.
Kia. Absolutely.
Kia's
I'll throw one
really-
in there. That's not in there. Chevrolet.
Yeah, Chevrolet too. But Kia, when you look at all of the standard features that they offer, even on the base model, they do a really good job. And that top trim, they're even keeping their pricing down. I think we're seeing some impressive numbers from Kia.
We had a senior executive with us, and I said to him, the one thing I have to applaud Kia for is price discipline. They really are disciplined with their pricing. They're not putting up their prices as high as others. That might change in time. They might get greedy, but I think right now they're the value leader. And Chevrolet.
And Chevrolet. Now, we don't know what goes on at dealership level, if there's markups, which could be the case on hybrids. I have heard from some of you who said, look, I went to the Kia dealership and they're marking it up. We're just talking about MSRP or prices that include freight, PDI, and fees, and there's some value there with Kia. Hi, guys. Haven't missed a single video since I started watching in 2020. Awesome.
Wow.
I've had a Sportage hybrid for about a year now, and I traveled over 300 kilometers weekly out of town for work. A new job in town makes my commute 15 kilometers now, and I have the chance to trade in the hybrid for the plug-in hybrid. Would you recommend that trade given the reduced commute?
You know my line, Andrea. The cheapest car is the one you already own. And you know what? That's a great product. I don't know. I mean, you're spending so much more to get the plug-in, and you're only driving such a short distance. You're never going to recoup that extra cost.
Yeah.
Because you're driving so little. I know the urge is to get your fuel costs down to zero. Like if you plug it in, you're going to drive there and you're going to drive back, and you're never going to buy gas.
No.
But you're not going to make up the difference in cost for, first of all, trading in a vehicle that's a few years old for a new one, and the extra cost to get the plug-in. The cheapest car to own is the one you already have.
What you might want to do is see what you can get for the hybrid. Between the rebate in Canada of $5,000 federally, maybe you can bring that cost down on the plug-in hybrid. You just never know. Also, I find the Sportage plug-in hybrid to be priced really well from Kia. So definitely crunch those numbers. If it doesn't work, keep the hybrid, because you're already getting great fuel economy.
You've got to trade it in. You've got to pay the difference in tax. You've got to pay all the different fees. Yes, you're going to have a car that's still new and under warranty, but your car is also still under warranty. I just think you're never going to, with that few miles to drive every day, going to recoup the difference in cost. And the hybrid you have is excellent. One thing though, Andrea, the plug-in hybrid uses the gasoline engine to create heat in the cabin. So you are going to be driving your first 15 kilometers mostly in the regular hybrid mode anyway. You're not going to be able to get that pure EV except for fair weather like spring, summer, and fall.
Unless you've got it plugged in and you precondition it, that'll be a little bit different for you. So, you know what? I say crunch the numbers. You've got 55 kilometers of range on the Sportage plug-in hybrid. You never know. But I agree with Zach. Keeping the vehicle that you already own is the least expensive option. Love your channel. You're my favorite car reviewers.
Nice.
Thank you. If you could go to one international car show, which would be your top choice? I'd love to take my brother on a trip to visit one of these amazing shows. What would you pick, Zach?
They're less amazing as the years go by because we talked about the fact that they don't want to host anymore. They don't want to go. No. Listen, a lot of it comes down to the destination, right? So you can't beat the Paris Motor Show because you're in Paris. You can't beat the New York Auto Show because you're in New York.
Yep.
And you
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt's not there anymore. They moved it to Munich. But I would say the biggest motor shows now are all in China. So Beijing Motor Show and the Shanghai. Shanghai's a very cool city and a massive motor show. So I'm not sure if you're interested in that.
One of my favorites really is New York. That's the one I like. I like the city. It's fun. I throw in a little bit of shopping. We're in
a little eating, a little drinking.
It's pretty sweet. But one that I really enjoyed was Japan, the mobility show. So interesting. It really focused on EVs last year. There'll be another one the following year. It's every 2 years. But I think that's the one I would go to because Tokyo is absolutely fabulous. And then the show is super interesting. And you see vehicles that you just don't see in North America or in Europe right away either.
But these auto shows are really a shell of what they used to be. The ones that are still the hot ones with loads of cars that you've never seen or heard of in your life is in China.
Oh, and Detroit's going back to January again.
Don't go to Detroit in January.
Boy.
I mean, you can go to Detroit in January, but wouldn't be my choice.
No. 3, 2, 1, VW Jetta or TAOS?
VW Jetta or TAOS?
Or TAOS. 3, 2, 1.
This is like blondes and brunettes. Like
it's all right. It says 3, 2, 1.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Jetta.
Good value.
Great value. VW 2024 GTI versus 2025 GLI, both in automatic. Best value for money. 3, 2, 1. GLI.
The Jetta and the GLI are amazing value.
Amazing.
Is this a Volkswagen one as well?
No. Love your chats. Thank you. Interested in the Ford trio of Escape, Maverick, and Bronco Sport. Wondering if any other brands have a similar set of diverse vehicles that share the same platform. Quite a few. Just speaking of this, because you're comparing the pickup truck with an SUV, Hyundai does that as well with the Santa Cruz on the same platform as the Tucson.
Yeah, I mean, platform sharing is common across the industry. So you can look at whole line, a whole family of vehicles all using similar components. But
Yeah.
to go from the pickup truck part,
You've got
all right.
GM and Chevrolet.
No, the Honda Ridgeline.
Mm-hmm.
The Honda Ridgeline pickup truck is the same platform as the Pilot and even the Odyssey minivan.
Yeah.
So that is a shared platform. So it happens across the industry. They need to share the costs across many different cars. Volkswagen on the Golf platform, I think they have 28 different models they use that platform for.
Would you consider?
You said a few more,
I know,
Andrea. I just snuck
but
another.
these were really quick with the 3, 2, 1. I like it when you guys do that 3, 2, 1.
They've caught on to us. Yeah.
Would you consider getting a full EV if charging at home wasn't an option? 3, 2, 1.
No.
No, absolutely not. If you can't plug it in at home, do not torture yourself.
I thought they were asking if we would get it if we could plug it in.
No.
Would you consider buying a full EV if charging at home wasn't an option?
Charging at home wasn't
Was
an option.
not an option.
Yeah.
Oh no, listen, the line is the car you own is the cheapest car, right? That's my one
Yeah.
line. And the other one is if you don't have a plug, don't buy a car that needs a plug.
Nope. Do not do it. Do not. And that's it for us. If you want to get a question and follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Talk to you then.
Thanks for watching.